Hi, I'm John and welcome to the Christmas edition of the Jigsaw Puzzler as I present my one and only Christmas jigsaw puzzle. This magnificent beauty, the Adoration, produced by the Art Gallery of South Australia. The Art Gallery of South Australia is one of the leading repositories of the works of William Morris, his company Morris & Co, or Morris Marshall Faulkner & Co, and of the pre-Raphaelite artists such as John Henry Durrell, Sir Edward Burne-Jones and May Morris. They hold the largest collection of Morris & Co materials outside the United Kingdom. This includes furniture, wallpapers, embroideries, tapestries, other textile works, stained glass, and all manner of things, including books, printed materials, and photographs, and all sorts of things related to Morris & Co, the business of Morris & Co. The picture on this puzzle is of a tapestry called the Adoration. It was designed predominantly by Sir Edward Burne-Jones. John Henry Durrell designed the flowers that you see across the bottom and up through the middle. And it was produced by Morris & Company at their works at Merton Abbey in Surrey. Interestingly, it also appears on the front cover of this book, the same image or a section out of it, which is the exhibition catalogue from the Art Gallery of South Australia in Adelaide for an exhibition of works by Morris & Co. Inside the book, if we go not too far in, we find that this particular tapestry was designed in 1900 to was produced, the South Australian version of this was produced in 1900 to 1902, having been designed in 1887. It was commissioned by a South Australian businessman, and it is made of wool and silk. It is simply enormous and it is absolutely beautiful. If we turn the page, we get a magnificent fold-out section which shows part of the tapestry enlarged. And it is an absolute beauty. It depicts the Adoration of the Magi, which is part of the original Christmas story. There's no Christmas trees, no tinsel, no lights, no candy canes, no snow, no Santa, but our record of the first Christmas presents. The Magi, who are depicted here, or sometimes known as the three wise men, present their gifts of gold, frankincense and myrrh to the baby Jesus being cradled in his mother Mary's arms, while Joseph looks on, and the whole scene is lighted by an angel holding the Star of Bethlehem. The wise men are presumed to be three. The Bible doesn't tell us that there are three. It's presumed to be three because the three gifts are mentioned, and so one gift for each of the Magi. In the Middle Ages, the Magi were given names, they were given backstories, their histories were embellished, but we really truly know very little about them. Historically, they're assumed to be potentially Zoroastrians from Persia. The term magi is where we get our term magician from, but it's not in any way kind of magic that we might consider today. Zoroastrianism was the key religion of the Persian region right up until well into the Islamic period. And it still continues today, but although its population is quite small. So we have this depiction of this scene. It's a pre-Raphaelite scene, which means that Morris & Co were interested in techniques and means of production going back before the Industrial Revolution, in fact before the Renaissance, so pre the painter Raphael. Everything about this was made in an authentic way, in what William Morris considered to be an authentic way. Natural dyes, natural fibres, the artist intimately connected with the design of the work and the craftspeople who actually made it using the machines that from the Middle Ages, or styled after the machines of the Middle Ages. The craftsmen actually involved in the manufacture of each of their products, not just some long machine spitting out mass-produced, poorly made and poorly designed items. He was really rebelling against the mass consumerism and the mass production of badly made items in the Industrial Revolution. So he and his friends got together and they formed these companies and produced these absolutely glorious artworks. The puzzle I've got here today is a depiction of the tapestry that hangs in the Art Gallery of South Australia in Adelaide. It is, and it was produced for them. So the branding on the box is Art Gallery of South Australia. Now, a few comments about the quality of the puzzle itself. It's quite a large puzzle. It's 1,000 pieces, and it's quite large for a 1,000-piece puzzle. The pieces themselves are bigger than your average, like Ravensburger or Haya or Educa, the well-known big-name brands in the jigsaw puzzle market. The pieces are larger than that, but not that large size that you might get, say, the Ravensburger big puzzle piece size, which are really great for people who have trouble manipulating the small pieces. Somewhere in between. The pieces themselves are quite thin. I think this was a cost-saving measure on the part of the Art Gallery of South Australia so that they could maximise their income from producing the puzzle, and it is a little bit disappointing. It has a reasonably glossy finish. I've got lights here, and while that does help with the solving of the puzzle immensely, it does actually provide a fair bit of glare as you're doing it. I can imagine that if I had an overhead light directly over it, it would be practically impossible to do it. The other thing I've noted about doing this puzzle, and you might see this, if you watch the time-lapse, you will see evidence of this, even in a time-lapse. There are 1,000 pieces in this puzzle, and there are therefore 1,000 pieces that will make a false fit. False fits are everywhere in this puzzle. Many, many examples. Putting this bottom edge together with this border isn't as straightforward as it looks. Of course, the floral area where lots of the leaves look quite similar. This red outfit here worn by this wise man with its watered silk look, very challenging in terms of the false fits. Some false fits over here with Joseph's outfit, but particularly in this background area, this very dark, wooded, forested area in the back, many, many false fits. Even some of these areas here where you think I've got this small area of pattern with these flowers and leaves, that should be quite straightforward, but actually it's not as easy as it looks. And this part here with these metal bosses on the leather that hang down here from this outfit, they can be quite tricky to put together as well. However, having the lights offset did mean that it was easier than the last time I did it. Last time I did this puzzle, which was only a few months ago, I did it with natural light coming in through a window, which was great, but I did find that the colours blended in a lot more under those circumstances, and the artificial lights I've got here, it did make it slightly easier to pick out the differences in the shapes and colours, particularly in that background. This puzzle, you'll see on the time lapse, I did a complete full flip, and I pulled out all of the edge pieces. Across the top is an inscription, and it says, "The Adoration, designed by Sir E. Burne-Jones and executed by Morris & Company at Merton Abbey in Surrey." And the letter E on the end, which is going to say England. There is part of the tapestry that is not, the very edge of it, not depicted on the jigsaw puzzle. I think that was just an issue of proportions. That's the easiest part to do because it spells out words, you know which way up it goes, and you put it together so that you can read it. There's no false fits across the top. I did put the edges together first, and it took a little while. some of the red parts down here, some of these leaves. In fact, I got 2/3 of the way through the puzzle and was filling in these flowers down the bottom and discovered that part of this edge was all the wrong way round, and I had to rearrange things just to get some of the center pieces in. So the false fits, some of them lasted a long time into the puzzle. Once I had done that, I sorted, and you'll see on the time lapse, I sorted out quite a lot of the textures. The outfit for this angel, the gold and the gold and white fabric, the way that it drapes here, quite distinctive, and the jeweled elements as well. I pulled out the armor, the chainmail, and these leather and metallic boss parts here, and the sword. The crowns here, and there's a crown on the ground as well, and the gifts, not hard to pull out. And I pulled out all of the halos. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 halos and the Star of Bethlehem, which are made up of tiny little dots. So I made a pile of those as well. This wise man's outfit is red with a very richly embroidered, I suppose, gold leaf pattern on the bottom of it. That's not hard to pull out either. So I started with quite a lot of piles in the middle of the puzzle. I put together this wise man first, as much as I could of this one and this one. Then I moved on to part of the angel and the halos. Once you get the halos done, you can start to put the people in approximately the right place, and you get a sense of the proportions of how big they're going to be. Mary's outfit, being blue, is not too hard to pull out, but there is a blue section through the middle here with this wise man. So there are 2 places to check. Until I had this one completely done, I couldn't have Mary completely done, really. Obviously, the faces are quite distinctive. These 3 looking in towards my left, the angel looking down, and these 3 looking towards my right. Once I had the people in place, then I moved on to Joseph. I moved on to the red sections. 1, 2, 3 fully red outfits. However, the textures of them differ significantly when you look up close. Joseph's outfit is quite plain. There is a lot of shading and light on his outfit to show the folds of his garment as it drapes over his body. He also has this large bundle of branches that he is holding. I picked out all of those and made that section on its own. Then I was able to do this by looking at the edges of the red and then just simply filling in the spaces. This one over here is much darker, much deeper red, more striped in many ways, and most of the pieces of the red of this one have part of the adjoining wise man on them. So that was not too hard to pick out those pieces. This one here, this one's the problem. It's watered silk, which means it's got sort of lines, faint lines through it that create this sort of watery looking pattern. It does have the light and shade, the shiny elements, the same as Joseph, but it does have the watered silk look. However, it's also got this gold braid around the bottom and just a little bit at the top, and of course this blue section here showing the garment underneath. It's tricky because of the false fits in this puzzle. It really takes a while to work out whether you have the right piece in the right place. These lines of the watered silk need to line up with each other, and you can put 2 pieces together and stare and stare and stare at them and they'll be wrong. So that I found very tricky. I moved on to the angel, did this angel's outfit, but mostly by following the edges, and actually this little tiny section that goes up through the middle showing the garment underneath, very long straight lines underneath that look like columns. And I could put that together, and in fact if you look at the time lapse, I had the feet, I had this jeweled section here, and then these long straight columns, and I was basically able to build the angel in a single line through the middle of the puzzle and then work out from that. I did a similar thing with this blue line, built the blue line up to the arms, the sleeve here, and up here for the garment underneath, and so that I could divide that red piece into the two. Okay, I basically had the 5, 6, 7 figures done, so the baby, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 figures done, and then there's this background. Well, it's a challenge. There's no doubt about it, it's a challenge. However, you have to look closely, and this is one of those puzzles where you really, really need to look closely at the textures. A couple of other things give you some clues. Now, there are so many flowers on here, but what you will notice if you start paying attention is that there are certain sections with certain flowers. This area here, across the middle, behind Mary and Joseph, is roses. And it's the only place on the puzzle where roses appear. Through the middle here, 2 sections here are lilies. The only section of the puzzle where lilies appear. There are irises down the bottom, the only place where irises appear. And if you look closely, each of these flowers appear in one place only. So they can only go there. There isn't some of this flower here and some over there. No, they're all here. So that does help in picking out pieces to group together at least. Mary is sitting on straw, bundles of straw, and so the texture of that isn't too difficult to pull out, particularly as we have these columns made of tree trunks that are bound together, woven together with sort of ropes or reeds or something or other to make an enclosure. All of that can be put together relatively straightforwardly right up to this point. The top section here is the most difficult. There's no way around it. That is the challenging bit. Behind this angel, you get these beautiful green and gold, almost feather shapes. They look like a halo of feathers, and they're the angel's wings. Curling upwards and downwards around its head. So you end up with this puzzle where I had the whole middle section here and everything from there down done, but this section up here was left till last. There is a sort of a roof, a hut roof made on top of these tree trunks here as a kind of shelter for Mary, Joseph and the baby. And you can pull out these textures. It's not hard to do that towards the end. There's not much else in the box. But you have to be really, really careful about how you put those together because, again, that is loaded with false fits. And then the background. My goodness, the background. It's very dark blue, mottled as if you've got layers of tufts of grass, slightly different shades of blue, but with the same colour palette right across. And you have tree trunks in the background showing a forest or the woods or something like that. And they all are the same colours. Shades of dark charcoal grey, not quite black, some lighter greys, very, very receded into the background. So very blue-grey. That is a proper challenge. And sorting by shape is probably the only way you can get that done. The trees are visible on the pieces, and there are some distinct parts, like the bases of the trees might form a distinct shape, and so you can look at the image on the box and hold up the piece and think, okay, well that's the base of that tree, and so you can piece bits of it and then just puzzle sort, shape sort, and put the rest of it together and hope that it matches up. And you really have to inspect everything to make sure the right piece is in the right place. This is a beautiful puzzle. It's a beautiful image. It's certainly appropriate for Christmas because it depicts the very first original part of the original Christmas story. But the quality of the puzzle itself, the cut of it and all the false fits do make this quite a frustrating puzzle to do. It's I persist with it for a few reasons. I've done this about 4 times. I do persist with it for a few reasons. Firstly, I love everything produced by Morris Marshall, Faulkner & Co., or Morris & Co., William Morris, Edward Burne-Jones. I love their work, 100%, everything that they've done. If you look at the time lapse closely enough, you'll see, in fact, that I have a coffee cup next to me, and the design on the coffee cup is a William Morris design. It's one of his wallpaper and textile designs. So I love their work. I could spend hours, and have spent hours on 2 occasions, in the Art Gallery of South Australia in Adelaide, looking at their amazing collection. I've been to the William Morris galleries in Walthamstow in London. I've been to the Victoria and Albert Museum in Kensington in London to see the Green Dining Room and other Morris & Co. materials. I attended church at Unley Park Baptist Church in South Australia, so that after the service I could wander around and have a look at the stained glass window that they have there. One of the few stained glass windows in Australia still in place from Morris & Co., the Light of the World. And that was a real treat. I persist with this because I love it. Quality does let it down. Disappointed with the Art Gallery of South Australia. I do understand the economics of it. They want to make a buck. They are a public gallery, trying to support themselves, expand their collections, and do all the good things that they do. And one of the ways they do that is through their gift shop. Puzzles available in the gift shop. They can't spend a lot on the highest quality because they get a smaller return. So I do get that, but it is a pity. It is a pity. All right, I'm going to ask you to click on like and subscribe. If you could share, if you want to share your favourite Christmas puzzle with me, or if what you know about Morris & Co., whether you are a fan of their work or whether you've never heard of them before, I'd suggest you Google them. That's a rabbit hole, a pleasurable rabbit hole that you might go down. So click like, click subscribe, let's have the time lapse, and thank you for watching, and a Merry Christmas from the Jigsaw Puzzler. Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where is the one who has been born the King of the Jews? We saw his star in the east and have come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Christ was to be born. "In Bethlehem in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least amongst the rulers of Judah, for out of you will come a ruler who will be the shepherd of my people Israel." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and make a careful search for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, so that I too may go and worship him." After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold and of incense and of myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their own country by another route.